In this video, I'll share 3 straightforward ways to use AI in your business today for a clear ROI. Hey, my name's Ivan, and I help small businesses implement AI into their processes to improve their business. I've worked as a software developer for nearly 15 years and ran my own small service business before, and I'm absolutely amazed at the opportunities this new tech is opening up. So let's get into it. Number 1. 24/7 customer support and AI receptionists as AI voice agents. You might have heard a demo of one of these, but if you haven't, it will blow your mind. Here's a very short demo of one I built for myself.
Hi, this is ProfitBot Solutions. I'm an AI voice assistant. You can call me Sarah. I'm here to demonstrate how an AI voice agent works. What can I answer for you today?
Hi, it's Ivan. I found you online, but I wasn't completely sure what kinds of automation services you provide. Can you give me a little bit more information about that?
Sure, I can help with that. At ProfitBot Solutions, we offer AI workflow automation, AI voice agents, and chatbot solutions to help small businesses boost their revenue, save money, and save time. These services can automate various business processes to make them more efficient and effective. If you're interested in learning more, I can provide further details or schedule a free discovery call for you. How does that sound?
Sure. How about next week, Wednesday?
Give me a moment. We have availability on Wednesday, 19th of February from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Does that work for you?
Yeah, let's do 10 a.m.
Great choice. May I have your name, please?
Yeah, it's Ivan.
Give me a moment. I've sent you the booking link via SMS, Ivan. Please confirm that you've received it.
Yep, just got it.
Perfect. Is there anything else I can assist you with today?
No, that's all. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
So what can this do? First, it can understand and speak many languages. As you've heard, it sounds quite realistic, far from the robotic-sounding systems we sometimes have to struggle with when calling big companies. It can know almost anything you wanted to know about your business, from the services you offer to terms and conditions, pricing. Anything specific to your business can be added as its knowledge. It can also run actions that connect it with other systems. So for example, it can read your availability from a calendar. It can make a new booking or reservation in your booking system. It can send messages. For example, it can send an SMS with a payment link, and so on. It works 24/7. It can work in parallel, meaning it can serve multiple customers at the same time. And it doesn't get tired. It doesn't get cranky. It doesn't get sick of the job. It costs about 1/10 to 1/5 of a human receptionist, and you only pay for it when it's actually on the phone. Is it perfect? No, but it's good enough to actually do the job, and it's only getting better. Now, in this video, I'm not going deep into implementations of all this, but if you'd like me to, comment below and I'll make separate videos. But let's have an overview of how this works. So at the center, we've got a voice agent platform. In this case, that's VAPI. Now, when someone makes a call over an actual phone, that goes through a phone provider, for example, Twilio. They will take the call and forward the voice back and forth between VAPI and the customer. What VAPI does is orchestration. We've got an agent set up with an initial set of instructions that includes the greeting, instructions on what to do, and even how to behave, and even basic information about the business. All of this gets forwarded to the LLM, and that's your ChatGPT. It will read the instructions and communicate with the customer. It will answer questions, or in this case, where it's instructed, it will try to gently guide the customer to booking a discovery call. Now, in my case, there's only a small amount of information I need the agent to know and to work with. But if you wanted to do something like customer support, you may need more, which is where the knowledge base comes in. So the knowledge base is a separate archive or a database where we store all the other information the agent might need, and it will fetch it as needed. Unlike the initial instructions, a knowledge base can be of any size, so that's something we'd use if we wanted to provide information about a large number of services or detailed information like whole menus for a restaurant, for example, and so on. So the next part are voice services, and this is simply a way to transcribe the audio the customer speaks into the text LLM can understand, and converting the LLM's output back into voice again, with the voice you choose in the language of the customer. And because all of this is happening in real time, latency is really important, which is why we use specialist voice services instead of just dumping all of the audio at the LLM. And while all this together would make for a fairly useful agent for providing information, to really unlock the possibilities, we are missing one more thing, and that are tools. Now, tools are simply a way for your agent to interact with the outside systems. So in my case, it needs to be able to check availability on the calendar or put a new booking into the calendar. So we define a way for the agent to do that using these tools. The tools themselves can be implemented in many ways. There are usually automations we implement in tools like N8N or Make.com, and they take parameters from our voice agent, for example, the day we are looking for availability for, or the day we want and the time we want to book the appointment for. And then it will connect to the tools on the other side. So that might be our booking system, it might be a calendar, or whatever else we need to do. And then perform the actions and potentially return the data back to the agent. So for example, if it's returning the data, it might say there are availabilities at these times of the day for that particular date. And that way we can build voice agents for many tasks you would have people answering the phone. Okay, so that was the first use case. Also, keep in mind, all of this can be done through text as well. Think something like a WhatsApp agent or a website chatbot. Most small businesses have the opportunity to use something like this in at least some parts of their business. Okay, so that was the first use case. Now for the second opportunity, reputation management. If you're a local service business, you know how important reviews are, and it can take a lot of time to keep on top. But luckily, a lot of it can be automated. So there's a few steps to this process. Number one is we want to automate review requests. For this example, I've taken an actual restaurant, but that I have no affiliation with. It's called Raku, and it's in New York City. And for this to work, you need to have some kind of customer management system. It can be a full-blown complicated CRM, or it can be something as simple as a Trello board. But you need to have a place where you are keeping track of your customers and when you have provided service to them. As an example, I've set up a simple system in Airtable. So I've got these three columns. When somebody books in, it will be an upcoming reservation. When they have dined, it will be completed. And if they cancel, I will just move them into cancel. So once we have provided a service, I move them into the completed column. And this automatically triggers a review request that is sent to their email. And if I have their phone number, it can also go to their phone. So this is done with a simple automation where we are watching the Airtable records, and when we find a record that's been modified and the status has been changed to completed, we then run through this, and if we have the email of the customer, we will send them an email. Now, once this is done, they receive an email and they have a direct link where they can go and leave the review. It's a very simple automation, but if you don't ask, you don't get. Even worse, if you don't ask your happy customers for reviews, you end up with mostly getting bad reviews because unhappy customers are most motivated to leave reviews. Now, the second step of this system is unifying all review platforms in one place, so you can keep track of your reviews without going back and forth among these platforms. And this step really depends on the type of businesses you run. For this restaurant, I'm pulling reviews from Google and TripAdvisor. This is done through scrapers, so I've got Google and TripAdvisor reviews fetchers. So I use Apify, which fetches the latest reviews. We get them, and then we upsert them into the Airtable. This is the 5 reviews for the Google reviews, and then we'll do the same for TripAdvisor. So I'm running these manually, but normally you would have them run periodically so they fetch the reviews as they come in. So once we've done this, I've got the latest 5 reviews from Google and from TripAdvisor in this database. So we've got the customer name, rating, where it's coming from, and the review text. So this gives you one place where you can view all these reviews, even if you track reviews on multiple platforms. Now, the next step is to reply to them. And for me personally, this always took way more time than I would have liked. You want personalized responses that sound like an actual reply to the review instead of just some canned text like, thank you. Generic responses just show you don't care, and that doesn't motivate your customers in the future to leave reviews. So here, I built an automation that watches for these new reviews as they come in and then creates replies. So again, we're watching records in the Airtable. So that's this table here. So as new reviews are added, the automation is going to run. And then it will take that and take it to, I use Claude here just because it tends to give me better written answers for things like this. And so we say a customer name has left us a review with this rating, and then there's some instructions around how to write a reply, and then we give it the review text. We also say that we signed email with Norihiro, which is the owner of the restaurant, and then give it our contact email and so on. So that goes to Claude. It will give us a reply. We put that back into Airtable, and we also send an email to the owner saying, hey, here's a new reply, and here is the suggested text. So now that this has run, the field which has a reply has been populated. And in cases where there's no text, like here, it will just say there's no review text. But in cases where there is text, it will actually write a reply. So here we have, Dear Chloe, thank you for a wonderful review, and so on. And it really writes like this thoughtful response that really takes into account whatever the user wrote. So like here, the user was mentioning a QR code in a menu, and like we were saying, we hear your feedback and so on. So this is really like the kind of reply you want to write to a user, instead of just like, oh, thank you for your excellent reply, when they maybe even had some suggestions or feedback or whatever. And then for the 1-star replies here or reviews, I actually instructed it to take responsibility, offer to make things right, give them the contact and so on. So here we're thanking them for the time, and then we apologize and so on. So it's like a really long and thoughtful review. So it really saves a lot of time that you don't have to write this, or at least not from scratch. But because reviews are so important, most businesses don't want these posted automatically. They want them reviewed first. So I put the generated reply into the Airtable, and then for each of these reviews, I also send an email to the owner. So we've got all of these reviews, so 5-star, 1-star, 5-star, and so on. And then we have the review text. We also have a suggested reply, and then we have a link to the review. So basically, if you click this and you are the owner of the restaurant, you immediately get to the point where you can paste this in, or whatever reply you actually want to post. Of course, the language of these replies, how they sound, how we handle good or bad reviews, that's fully customizable based on how you want those replies to look like. And then finally, as the final step of this reputation management system, I think it's a good idea to keep track of any complaints your customers post, to make sure we keep improving and don't forget about these things, because, over the course of a month or 2 months, somebody might have complained about something, but it just gets lost in a sea of reviews, and you forget about it. And also just to keep our finger on the pulse as time goes on, to make sure we're not slipping and that hopefully our service is actually improving. So for this, I built another automation that runs periodically, and how often really depends on how many reviews you're getting. So it can be weekly, it can be monthly. And here I just take all reviews posted in that time period. So if it runs weekly, it will be, run once a week, and then it gets all the reviews in the last week. We gather all these reviews, create a JSON so that we can send it to Claude. And then we do the similar thing as before, where we basically just send it all this data, and then we say, here's a list of reviews of a restaurant received in the past month. Each review has a rating, and so it explains what it is. And then we give the actual reviews, and we ask it to analyze them and output a short 1 to 2 line summary of the user's experience, and list any complaints in a concise, clear way so the restaurant owner can get an overview of what customers complain about. So then, once we've got an output, we put that again into the Airtable. There's another table there. We also send an email to the owner saying, this is the summary for the past month. Now, in the database, we have the review analysis, and that automation just created this card. So this is the date, and we basically get the summary. So it says there's a summary of the restaurant. It's a highly rated udon restaurant and so on. And then it's got a list of complaints. So this has been pulled out of all the reviews in that past month. So there's a expensive, potentially misleading sake recommendation. So there's that was listed in one of the reviews. Some delivery issues and so on. Then it also lists positive highlights, and so we know what people are appreciate about the restaurant. And then it also listed recommended actions. Now, whether that's something you want to listen to or not, but at least if we run this, say in this case every month, we would get a card every month, and then you can keep track of what people are complaining about, what the overall customer experience is, and so on. Now, these are only a few relatively simple automations, but they can materially improve your business by improving your Google ranking with more reviews and higher review rating overall, getting more customers through the door or on the phone, and also saving you at least a few hours every month that you don't have to do all this manually. And automation number 3, lead generation. Now, if you're any kind of business that does cold outreach, you know how painful the process can be. Finding leads, figuring out if they're actually a good fit, then crafting messages, and all this takes a lot of time and is very tedious, which is why it's a great opportunity for automation. So let's say we provide firewood as a subscription service, B2B. So which businesses need firewood regularly? Well, to me, firewood pizza places come to mind. So here's a way to automatically generate as many leads you need, fetch information about them so your outreach is more successful, and even compose those initial messages for better response rates. So for this example, we first scrape businesses in a particular location. So again, using Epify, and we're using this particular scraper, which can not only scrape businesses from Google Maps, but also can find contact information. So it can give us emails, even phone numbers if that's what you're after. So I typed in wood-fired pizza because that's what I'm interested in, typed in location, number of places to extract. Obviously, in this case, this is just a demo, but you would want this to be a fairly large number. And then there's a few other things where you can filter what you're looking for. In my case, I just wanted to make sure these are restaurants. Everything else looks pretty good. And once this is run, we can run it manually. We can run it automatically. In my case, I ran it manually, and we get, basically, it stores the data. So we've got this storage here, and that's what we use to get this into our automation. So in Make, we are fetching this data set, and then we check whether we filter them by making sure that they've actually got email. So if there is an email provided, if the scraper was able to scrape it, then we run another actor which simply scrapes the content of the homepage. So that is this scraper here. We simply give it a URL of the page we want to scrape, and it returns a markdown which is particularly useful for the LLMs. So we run the actor, wait until it's finished. In this case, this is a pretty fast one, so we don't have to do it asynchronously. We can simply run it, wait for it to finish, get the data. So with this, we go into ChatGPT, and we simply tell it we are asking it to create an initial outreach email. So there's some instructions, obviously, and then we say, this is the output we want. So we want the subject for the email, we want the body. And then there's the highlights field, which is simply other information we might have scraped from their homepage. And this can be useful in our further communication in case the business responds. And then we give it the information it needs to compose this. So we give the restaurant name, the address, and then we have the web page content, which we have just scraped. And with that, ChatGPT is going to give us some information and create an outreach email. With that, we put that into Google Sheets, and that's basically ready to send. So here's what that looks like. So I ran those few results, and out of the 5, 4 had email associated with them. So the 5th one just didn't have any contact, so it was skipped. And then we have the email with a suggested text that we would send them. So Hi there, I noticed that Pizza Chicago has a great reputation for delivering delicious pizza. Admire your commitment to quality service, blah, blah, blah. And then we offer them our subscription firewood. Also, in cases where there is a little bit more that we found on their homepage, like for example here, we say we're impressed by your commitment to using local seasonal ingredients. It's inspiring to see your restaurant prioritizing fresh homemade offerings. So like that's already a little bit more meaningful than just pitching your service and will hopefully result in some better response rates. And then we've got the emails we're gonna send this to. So in some cases, it will find a whole bunch of emails. In some cases, it might just be one. And then there's this additional information that ChatGPT extracted. So basically tells us a little bit about the restaurant. So for this one, renowned Delicious Pizzas Catering. So for example, we know that these guys offer catering, that they also support community and charity initiatives and stuff like that. And so those were the 3 AI-powered automation systems that almost any business can implement immediately with current technology and that can save thousands of dollars every month or hours of your time. When I first started thinking about AI automation and AI in general and how it can be used inside of a business, I wasn't really sure where these types of system would fit in. So I hope this gave you some ideas for how to implement them in your business.